name is Claudia, and this is my final project for Introduction to Programming with Python. My project was essentially a data exploration project, so my goal was to see if I could create some plots to visualize what the cost of healthcare treatment looks like in dollar amounts. So it's pretty rare to see healthcare treatment given an explicit price. Hospital charge masters are pretty secret and sometimes proprietary. I was really happy to find a data set with explicit outcomes and prices in a Kaggle data set from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, also known as CMS. Unfortunately, there were only 4 treatment outcomes, but they were among the most common, and they are pneumonia, knee and hip replacement, heart failure, and heart attack. So I really wanted to work with this data set, and I made sure to include a short geographical analysis because the data was, though short in medical outcomes, medical treatment outcomes, robust in other ways. So I have 3 questions that I'm going to address as I walk you through my project. So here in my program setup, I import all the additional libraries that I'll be using, including pandas, Seaborn, Matplotlib, GeoPandas, and statistics. I had to do a little bit of data cleaning and manipulation. Chiefly, I had to manually rank the CMS medical treatment value outcomes, and I split them into mortality and complications and ranked them best to worst, 1, 2, 3, and best to worst, 4, 5, 6. I kept them separate because not every medical treatment takes mortality. They usually take either mortality or complications. We'll see that later. So I also split my data set into 4, 1 for each medical treatment, in order to create plots more easily later. So my first question was, for each type of medical treatment, what is the range of payments? And I used Seaborn and Matplot to set my scale, color, and titles. And here you can see the plot. It is payment by type of medical treatment, and it looks like knee and hip replacement has the largest sort of range, from 50,000 to 15,000. And heart attack looks like it might be quite different range of payments than heart failure on the scale of like approximately 10,000. So, or $10,000 difference between what you're paying for heart attack versus what you're paying for a heart failure workup. So my second question was, for each medical treatment group, can we see the range of payments across the values of care? So I created 4 plots, 1 for each medical treatment group, and this is where the manual ranking really came into play. So for pneumonia, the outcome is mortality, and it's ranked 1 being best mortality outcome, 2 being a middle mortality outcome, an average mortality outcome, and 3 being the worst. And it looks like there might be some real difference in price between the best and worst outcomes, but you might need more data because it looks like there's a lot of range on these box plots. So the next outcome is knee and hip replacement, and looks like there's a wide range of outcomes for the average complications. These are complications as seen by forehead. And it looks like there might be a higher payment for the worst level of complications, but it also might seem like if you have more complications, you're billing for more things. So obviously you might have more expensive overall price tag. The heart attack treatment group seemed like it actually had similar pricing across all outcomes, and these outcomes are mortality 1, 2, and 3. So best, average, and worst mortality, similar price tag. And then for heart failure, slightly different price tag for the best as compared to the worst mortality, but you need more data. So the third question I had was, what is the average cost of treatment by treatment group across the continental United States? And for this, I used a chloroplaque. And chloroplaque is a map of predefined regions, and within each region, you fill in the color gradient by a value of interest. And there's a link tutorial in my introduction. So in the code, I utilized an average treatment cost for each medical treatment group type, as opposed to the total number of treatments, in order to stop, to avoid coming out with a population map. So here we go. The cost paid for heart failure by state, it looks like there's a higher cost in Jersey and maybe in Nevada over here, maybe Florida as well. The cost to pay for heart attack looks slightly different, with some concentration, I guess, in Nebraska and in Jersey as well. The cost to pay for pneumonia, again, somewhat similar, just on a different scale. Maybe overall it's a lower cost in Wyoming and Montana and Utah for some reason. And lastly, the cost to pay for knee or hip or knee replacement looks like it's really high in Mississippi for reasons unknown, but I thought that was an interesting finding. I didn't expect to see. So I hope plots were interesting. Thank you for watching my presentation.